In our working day with operational information from ATO, and we have a spokesperson from Security and Defense Council, Colonel Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The situation in Donetsk and Luhansk regions is still tense and hard. Differences during the last day were not noticed. Terrorist and Russian troops continue shelling upon the positions of anti-terrorist operation. Our military men, when they fight back, they destroy those attackers. At the same time, Ukrainian armed forces build positions to and prepare for the winter. In the morning, violating conditions of Ukrainian legislation and international as to humanitarian cargoes from territory of Russia to Ukraine through border crossing points is Varin and Matvey Kurgan-Uspenka. 106 trucks of so-called humanitarian convoy passed from Russia to Ukraine. Since 8 o'clock in the morning from Matvey Kurgan, 63 trucks passed, and from 8 to 9:40 through Donetsk border crossing point of Russian Federation, 43 trucks passed. Because representatives of the International Red Cross Organization did not participate in organizing this and transportation of this cargo, Ukrainian border guards and custom officers just visually observed how that cargo went through our border. Everything happened without any control function of our border guards or customers. So they were not able to do that physically. The content and destination of that cargo is not known. As we told yesterday, a humanitarian convoy, that is just a picture for mass media of assistance, of Russian assistance, but real assistance people in Donbass don't receive. Quite the opposite, the lion's part of humanitarian cargoes get into the hands of militants, and as food, and also the biggest part that of that convoy, that is ammunition, and for in order to continue military activities. In Donetsk direction, the militants shelled with tanks, grenade launchers, mortars, Ukrainian they shelled upon positions of Ukrainian armed forces in the airport, and there were several attacks on the airport. Big battles, but our soldiers fought back, and the militants have losses. Near Tonenke, our positions were shelled 2 times by militants using a grad system with artillery, mortars, and grenade launchers. They shelled near Avdiivka, Opetnapiske, Vesele, Severne, Slavne, and all positions of are still under the control of our soldiers, and they do everything necessary to strengthen the defense. On the Baltseve direction, with mortars and small arms, positions of Ukrainian armed forces were shelled by terrorists near Nikishina, Mala Orlivka, Vilkhovatka. They didn't stop shelling. Near Bakhmutivska highway, terrorists there with artillery, they shelled upon our checkpoints near Sokilivka. On Pervomaisk direction, militants using the grad system, they shelled upon our positions near Tushkivka and Novotishkivska with mortars, and they shelled upon checkpoints near Popasna and Pervomaisk. In the south of Donetsk region, there was a calm yesterday. Today, there is a shelling on Mariupol, near Mariupol. Militants using grenade launchers, mortars, and artillery. They shelled upon checkpoints of near Novopalasna, Hranitne, Chermalik, Mykolaiv. There were no battles on the border. And during the last day, we lost 3 Ukrainian soldiers. 15 were wounded. Yesterday, near in Novosilka, not far from Novotoresk, Donetsk region. Border guards, they stopped to check was vehicle without a number plate, and there were two people inside. In the car, they found one Kalashnikov, AK-74, and shells for that. When they checked them, and one of them was in a military uniform, he had a credential from DNR. Both are arrested, and they were handed to SBU. As to the situation in towns and villages during Saturday, militants of LNR continued to shell upon Ukrainian territory in Luhansk region, and they used mortars, artillery, and grenade launchers, and they launched upon Трохізбінка, Гірське, Кримське, Сокільники, Щастя, Вільхове, Попасне, Макарове, Станиця Луганська. The most difficult situation as before is in Stanitsa Luhanska, which terrorists shall using Grad system as a result of direct shells. 4 buildings got fire and burned, and the firemen went to the place. They were trying to stop the fire, but they had to stop their work because infiltrators in the village, they shelled them using submachine guns, and they had for some time they had to just stay on ground, and they continued to extinguish fire after militants left the village, and we don't have information about casualties among civilians. During yesterday, they were shelling upon Popasna, and 2 pensioners were wounded, and one 82 years old man, unfortunately, he died because of wounds. In Donetsk, militants got the state bank of Lysenko, Kalinsky, Proletarsky, and Kievsky districts, the office of that bank. Because of well done search operations was going west in Donetsk region, they found the channel to provide militants and explosives from territory which is under control of DNR. In Dubropilsky district, and they stopped the source of to finance terrorists, and 2 residents from Belarus were arrested. Weapons, Kalashnikov submachine guns, and also grenades in the bag. To Belozerska, it was delivered by a 26-year-old girl, an errand person of DNR, and they were selected people to do terrorist acts in Ukrainian cities in order to destabilize the situation and to threaten peaceful population. Backwards, the courier, the errand person was carrying money, and she received from that ammunition, and in Donetsk, she delivered that to the fighters of Russian Orthodox Army, which is on the side of self-announced or self-declared republic. These arrested people, they could get spent now 15 years in a prison. There are fights between different gangs of terrorists, according to the information received in Alexandrivka, Donetsk region. One artillery installment, 1 mortar, and 1 military truck was destroyed. 18 terrorists died during clashes between Yastybil LNR and Russian Cossacks in Antracite. According to the information received, because of the higher pressure from competing gangs and no payment among Cossacks, there are more cases that they flee away. Some gangs are very close to leave. We ask the residents to be very careful because of clashes between those gangs. Very often, people who are not involved, they die. Any question? Today we got information that one of the terrorists, so-called one of the minister of LNR, they started to speak about compliance with Minsk agreements as if it's very important for them. Is there an information? Is there information that a terrorist will stop, will cease fire, and why do you think they start to speak about that now? You see, compliance with Minsk agreements is compulsory for all parties in ATO area, including militants. Some preconditions don't exist. There are commitments and there are decisions signed by the parties in Minsk. Preconditions for ceasefire is a will of militants who open fire the first. As soon as they stop that, then there will be grounds for us to comply with the rest of the paragraphs of Minsk agreement. So everything depends on them. Any question? If there is no question, then the working day is over for today.
Побачення.